Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. This is a special broadcast because what happened today in a court in Manhattan will perhaps define or redefine the United States politics and perhaps even politics across the world. What really happened? Today, a grand jury gave indictment to Donald Trump for hush money, and I'm going to talk you through what are the different players, who are the different players, what really happened, and what is expected to happen next. Now, clearly, this is just an indictment. Then there will be an arrest most likely, and then he'll have to get bail. But the way it will be timed, see, the indictment came down today. They can arrest him tomorrow, like 5 o'clock or 4:30 or something like that, making it too late for him to apply for bail. And therefore, he would have to end up spending the weekend in prison. And once a president spends time in jail, that can be played out and say that there is no precedence of any United States president of having spent time in jail, and therefore he should not be contesting the 2024 presidential elections. It's a possibility. So I'm just going to walk you through what happened and then what I think will happen next. Here we go. Donald Trump. Uh, this is one of the things that is coming to bite him in the wrong place. This was in 2016 that this thing first reared its ugly head. The actual incident is supposed to have taken place in 2006. What the actual incident was or was, I will talk to you in just 1 second. But let's first look at what who are the players here. There is Donald Trump. There is a porn star. Her name, I believe the porn star name is Stormy Daniels, but her real name is Stephanie Clifford. And the story goes that she was promised a role in, remember that Apprentice that Trump used to successfully host, a role in there, and in exchange, I guess she slept with him or whatever. I mean, this is what is the belief. Then what happened was somehow she has had some proof, and when Trump was running his campaign, then she said that she was going to sue Trump and breach of trust and this and that and so on. So what Trump did was he used his lawyer, Michael Cohen, to pay her off. The amount was $130,000. And that thing died down. Well, she wasn't the only one. There was one other lady called Karen McDougal. She was an ex-playmate of Playboy. And she too had, had alleged that Trump had slept with her. And that settlement was $150,000. These were the settlements done. Clearly, the settlement could have not been done by Trump because he was saying that he didn't do this. So what did he do? Well, this is where the story gets very interesting. The money was paid by the lawyer, Michael Cohen. Excuse me. So Michael Cohen paid the money out of his own accounts. Now, what had happened was then afterwards, of course, Michael Cohen is not going to do this thing out of his love for Donald Trump. So Donald Trump had to compensate him some way or the other. And looks like they've established the trail that you pay first and then I will give you the money afterwards. So all this has happened, and now this has been shown in front of a grand jury which said that we will indict Trump. So this kind of summarizes what I just said. Where things turned was Michael Cohen was arrested in the early part of the Biden presidency, and now he has become a key witness against Trump, and he is pleading guilty to many, violating federal campaign laws. So he says that, yes, I did this. And therefore, the challenge for Trump is that your own guy is now going to stand trial in against you. So let us walk this thing through. Trump gets arrested. He gets bail sometime next week early, I guess. And then what happens? Then the real trial will begin. Then, of course, he can either plead guilty and take a sentence, or he might say, I'm not guilty, and then it goes to a real trial. Then, the trial happens and there will be a jury that will weigh in and decide whether Trump is really guilty or not. The grand jury is sort of like it is done in camera sometimes, especially when there are high net worth worth people who are involved, or important people are involved. A grand jury usually gets convened to try and say that yes, these people, in their opinion, Trump has done enough to be indicted. So that's what has really happened. So this is sort of like a fast tracking a case. Whatever happens here, what I think will happen is it's going to change the United States politics for good, because I can bet you, if a Republican president were to come next, that person would do everything within his power to, like the way they impeached Trump twice, and also now they are jailing him. The same thing will happen to Biden also, assuming that he is alive at that point of time. I'm not saying I wish him good health. So what is going to happen is the politics is going to get even more partisan. Everything one guy says, the other guy will undo. Everything the other guy does, this guy will undo, back and forth and back and forth. So I'm not very positive for the future of United States of America, I'm afraid. This is just a concerned citizen expressing his concerns about what or where this country is headed. And if this is not enough, I have another breaking story for you, and this will really shock you. Her name is Joanne Segovia. She was the director of Police Officers Association of San Jose. Now, she has been arrested for essentially peddling drugs of the kind of fentanyl, very deadly drug. Within months, the person who starts consuming it dies. And evidently, there's a big market in the United States. If you have been following Vivek Ramaswamy, he has been saying this again and again, that United States needs to really start using its military to patrol the border, because this has become a huge menace. And there is an India connection here, and that's what worries me a lot. Here we go. This is part of the United States Attorney Office's statement. By the way, this one I need to tell. This is from Associated Press. I just took a couple of paragraphs from there. But the story is practically the same. I mean, anywhere you look at it, this is what it is. You can go and go back and read up what are all the different allegations that Stormy Daniels made. She has even written a book about Trump and his sexual prowess and all that, very salacious stuff. You can read that book to get a little bit more idea. Trump didn't do anything about it. He didn't try to sue and prevent the book from being published. None of that sort. So let's get back to this thing. So the complaint alleges that between 2015 October to January 2023, this lady had at least 61 shipments mailed to her home. See, what happens is, if people know that you are from the police, maybe the amount of scrutiny that was being made to her mails was not as much as what is normally done. But the shipments came from Hong Kong, Hungary, India, and Singapore. Remember, we have always been telling you that now Pakistan is becoming one of the biggest producers of all sorts of stuff. Now, this fentanyl is even more deadly. The product is actually being manufactured in China. We've been talking about this, but I'm going to give you the connection right after I tell you what happened here. So she was getting boxes with wedding party favors, gift makeup, chocolate and sweets, and so on and so forth. This now led to them finally, raiding her place. In fact, they found tablets even in her office, in the Police Officers Association. So it's a big embarrassment for the San Jose City Police, very hardworking bunch of folks. But this kind of stuff, if it happens, it can really, really mess you up morally. And I hope the San Jose Police gets a new chief who cracks the whip and cleans up the stuff that is going on. So how did things come to this? Where is the India connection here? Well, if you read that press release completely, and I'm going to give you the link to that right after I finish this monologue, I'll give you the link to that. I was trying to get some specialists. I have not been successful, but I may have a follow-up with Elmer Ewan in about a couple of hours' time. So stay tuned for that one. I'll tweet it out, and you will join. If you are on YouTube, you will get the message that I'm going to be going live with Elmer. And because the source of all this is China, in my opinion. China is the one that is putting out fentanyl. The fentanyl comes in through Pakistan. It is going through all these other countries I told you, Hong Kong, Singapore, India, and so on. From there, somehow it is making its way into the United States. Sometimes a bulk of that, in fact, is going to come through Mexico. We have been saying this thing again for a long time, that China has essentially given the technology of producing what I would call a chemical form of fentanyl. Fentanyl is actually a chemical drug. It's a composition. It could be paracetamol, but with some evil side effects. Think of it that way, because it even looks like a paracetamol tablet. So the problem is, who are the people who are bringing it in? Usually there used to be, truck drivers. And who are the majority of the truck drivers today? I don't have to answer this question. I've said this thing before many times. Yes, that is the problem. Now you see how this time around, when you see all these protests, these attacks, who are the ones who are funding it? They're funding it through drugs. And I don't have to tell you all the connect. If you had seen the 𝙒𝙗𝙖𝙪 conversation a few hours ago, you know who I'm talking about. This is a huge problem, guys, a very big problem. And this is, I'm afraid, going to completely change things. And whatever is happening, I expect some drastic action, crackdown of sorts coming down on truck drivers. Truck drivers make good money, 200,000 a year. Okay, but when they are also smuggling in drugs, who knows what kind of payoff that's going to give them. So this is the problem. I'm not saying everyone is a culprit here, but if there is that kind of money involved, who knows what what can happen. So really, really troubling times. This is the first time I'm hearing. San Jose is the 10th largest city in the United States. It's also considered the safest city for the number of people living, for its population, And in United States, San Jose is considered the safest city to live. But with these kinds of things happening, do you think that it's just the one police officer that was corrupt? I don't think so. There is a big network here, a big trail here. The department and the agencies have their work cut out. I hope to bring you more updates as and when they break. This is all I'm going to say now. I'm going to stop now and take some questions. Thank you so much. Here we go. So I really don't have any questions from you guys. This is not something that happened in one day. It has been happening for a long time, except that some of the bad side effects of the Obama presidency are becoming obvious only now. Remember that Obama was president for 8 years and Biden was his deputy for 8 years. And a lot of stuff has happened. Now, Hillary Clinton today, I'm told, is now a professor in Columbia University. See, if somebody wants to grab power, keep going back to Elmer's videos. China doesn't consider money as a big deal. For them, power is everything. And on the other side, most of the West thinks that money is the biggest thing. So this is the problem here. So people can be corrupted very easily. Now, no matter what happens now from this point forward, the cleanup just has become a lot harder. And in fact, the 2024 elections might see neither Biden nor Trump contest, which means it'll be like, again, an interesting situation where none of the previous contestants are contesting the 2024 elections. So we don't know what's going to happen. Let's wait and see. I'll bring you back an update with Elmer Yuan in a couple of hours' time. So stay tuned. And until then, I don't have any questions from here. There's one question. Oh, hang on. Ramanathan Nagarajan wants to know, how do we keep deshbhaks here in Bharat on these kind of issues to safeguard next generation? Ramanathan, I'm afraid drugs are also being peddled in India, consumed, and if that happens to be fentanyl, bad news. 8 to 9 months is all those people are going to live. It's a deadly opioid. Deadly. That's all I can say. Are we looking at more security at Khalistani activities in North California and Canada, BC? Well, more scrutiny, absolutely. That has been already happening. We don't have any action, tangible action. But see this big problem that I just came out. This came out 1 hour ago. I mean, I'm giving you the news hot off the press, literally hot off the press. So that's why I'm saying that this is just the beginning. So the Indian consulate trying to set it to fire on fire is just one incident. There have been other incidents. There was a Sikh family in Merced that got kidnapped and killed. And what happened afterwards, people are not saying except in hush hush tones. And now you make the connection. This is big, very big. Some of the counties, Merced, Manteca, and Fresno, these are all in the central California corridor to Northern California. Lots of places, all this is happening. Now it's happening right here in San Jose, which is considered a very safe city. So problems galore. How this is going to be solved, who's going to get fired, whose neck is on the chopping block, we don't know, but answers will start emerging very soon. So stay tuned on that. Next question I'm taking. Jim Lucas wants to know, can't Trump indicted at start of Christian Holy Week? Well, the timing is always done in such a way that the person that they are arresting, especially if it's a high profile person, spends a few days in jail. Because high profile people have high profile lawyers who can get them out of jail because they'll have some contacts in the judiciary and they'll get that out. And again, this is not a serious case, in my opinion, for Trump. So what? Is his wife hasn't objected? So it's a misdemeanor of some sort. So anyway, that's just the point here is not to send Trump to jail for years. The point here is to jail Trump. That, this guy has gone to jail now. That's the point. So this is the obvious question. 𝙒𝙗 wants to know what happens in the US if Trump is arrested. Well, Trump cannot run for president, most likely. And you can be sure that if a Republican president comes after this, one of the top three things he would do is to try and send Biden to prison. And this will go on back and forth until the moderates in both parties take control of their parties and start saying that, look, this country has to progress in the forward direction, not again back and forth. It's going to be huge problems, which is why I came live almost immediately. Perhaps I'm scooping many of the other channels who are still waking up to the news that Trump might be arrested tomorrow. Well, I just answered this question, 𝙒𝙗. You just thanks for putting the hashtag. But you know what's going to happen. Politics is going to be changed. So I think now Rahul Gandhi is well in the rear mirror. It's going to be Trump for the next few days. Let's wait and see how this plays out. Again, I'll be back very soon with Elmer joining me, and we will analyze this from a more global perspective. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.